All right, folks, we're back at the river and we are going to continue tearing up the frickin' floor. It's a beautiful day outside. I got to sit out there for an hour or so just eating some oranges and took care of the garden, mowed the lawn, and now it's back to work. All right, folks, we got some fun discoveries here. First of all, so this right here is the back corner of the pad, or I'm sorry, on the other side of this triple and what looks like a double there. That in that direction is the footer for the chimney. There's the concrete for the chimney under that plastic there. So if we, of course, that's all termite damage in there. And then we have some fun level change where clearly this 2x4 isn't sitting on anything. This guy right here isn't sitting on anything. That's except old subfloor. There is a piece of wood here. Don't know. That's the base plate for this wall. And then you can tell these stacked unmortared cinder blocks are just sitting there. This guy's resting on it, but otherwise not doing much. And we've got some 4x4 in here. Another set of idle cinder blocks holding up these 4x6s. So these joists now begin 16 on center and are resting on these 4x6s. So clearly they knew that there were structure issues when they remodeled in 95 and decided not to fix them properly, but just put cinder blocks down and beams up to hold up some of the joists, knowing that there was termite damage. This double right here is pressure treated, as well as that double over there. So, and then of course, that's plywood. So the old subfloor was cut up, I guess, for the sake of bolstering this up, and then they covered it up with plywood again. All of this insulation is wet. You see the moisture? So that's why we want a vapor barrier or a strong vapor blocker right under the insulation. Anyway, good fun. All right, more structural fun. We've got this 4x6 running under here. You can see there is a significant load. Of course, all that is rotten right there. This piece of wood seems to be intact. There's just a bunch of like this mildewy stuff, moldy kind of stuff. I don't know what this orange stuff is. Maybe some kind of a fungus. Good times. And then the beam just sitting on loose cinder blocks. Oh, and then all this pink insulation, I have no idea where it came from. But then there's like this drop off. This is like very loose, crappy concrete. This must have been, maybe they just dumped when they poured this footing for the chimney. Maybe they just dumped the rest of their concrete here before they ever framed the floor, of course. Anyway, good times. All right, folks, so we've got some structure uncovered here. This is one of the posts that'll be removed. And then you can see the loose cinder blocks holding up a 4x6 that goes under to support these 2x8s. The 2x8s currently are spanning 12 feet, which, depending on the species of wood, is actually sufficient for a 2x8 to support a floor joist. So I'm kind of wondering why they felt the need to put in these 4x6s, especially since this was done a long time ago. I don't know if it was done when the house was originally built or after some remodeling between then and 95. But the cinder blocks, the soil is very wet. The cinder blocks are very wet currently. And of course the joists are mildewy and moldy and are going to need some cleaning and drying out before I can seal it up. So otherwise I'm just covering with plastic just to keep the moisture out of the house. Eventually in the next week or so that I come down, we'll be having the AC running part day. So as long as I'm not doing anything that's exposing the soil underneath, I'll run the air conditioning just to keep it tolerable in here. So that's why I'm putting down the plastic underneath the temporary 4x8 sheets, just to give us a safe place to walk on and a moisture reduction for the air conditioning. Thank you. All right, folks, so we're starting to tear apart this lower level here to discover what's there. And to my surprise, there's a concrete pad under here. So this plywood is setting on, looks like pressure treated 2x4s. And just to see what the condition of the wall is, I tore that apart. And now we'll go outside and take a look at what's on the other side. All right, so this is the outside of the lower level. So I'm guessing these are probably, well, I'm not going to say. You know, they could be original. I don't know. But then there's a two pressure treated 2x4s stacked on top of each other. And then a regular 2x4. So that's excellent news. Means I don't need to rebuild the foundation part. I don't have to worry about the foundation part. I'll be rebuilding the wall using plywood sheathing because this is not a full 8-foot wall, of course, but this lower part here is very good. So the bad part, that bulge right there, is where we could see light. There's a post there that's only being supported by the rim joist, and from there over, it's the rim joist is extremely rotten, and so is probably the sill plate. So oddly enough, here I don't need to rebuild. From here over, an unknown distance that way, I'm going to have to rebuild the whole wall, or at least jack it up. If the base plate is good, I could, jack it up, sawzall it out, sawzall out the rim joist and the base plate. Not the base plate. I'm thinking of the plate on top of the cinder block. Anyway, so there's going to have to be a lot of restructuring in there. But from that post over is pretty good. It also means I don't have to pour as big of a footer. I'll have to come outside a little bit, and then in the inside corner going that way, I'll have to pour, but not over in this corner here. All right, folks, so I got all the plywood down in this main area that I wanted to get down, temporary plywood. And I ripped up 8 feet by 7 feet of flooring here and took care of it and stacked it all in there. And I'm beat, so that's it for this trip. I'm going to come down next, maybe Sunday perhaps, and rip out the rest of this flooring, and then we'll go in the other room here. I need to take up some of that flooring because this footing needs to go around this post. It's only 3 foot square, so there's I definitely have to get on the other side of this wall here, so, and I can't reach around underneath and get under that, so I'll have to rip up some of that floor in there. But yeah, so making progress. Thanks for watching. Cheers.